And we are back. So this video will be showing you some of the bonus features, bonus fun code that you can add to your project. First, I'm just going to do a review of what you should already have if you're watching this video. So video 1 of Parasol Plummet, we went over our character. So we have a big block of code that shows how we make Luigi go left and right based on user controls. We have a big block of code here that makes the variable gravity so that Luigi can go up and down. That's using our Y coordinate. Then we did for video 2, the coin code. The coin code had this section, which used the score variable. So we have a scoreboard of how many coins we're collecting. It is controlling the code for the coins and how they are moving from a random spot at the bottom, floating to the top, and then they disappear. Or if they are actually touching Luigi, then ding, you get a point. All right, so those are all of the things that you should already have if you are on this video. So let's proceed. Now we have a bunch of just fun extra stuff that we can do to our characters. So I'm going to start with our Luigi character. You'll notice it's always Luigi right here. But if you actually click to this costumes tab, you'll actually find we have a hidden character, none other than Mario. So if you want to just permanently change your game to have Mario, you can just click on Mario once and it'll just be set as that. Then you always have Mario. Or for my advanced coders who want to add a little extra spice to their game, we can actually add code so that the computer will randomly select either Mario or Luigi at the beginning of the game. So to the computer, Mario and Luigi are actually not separate characters, but rather they are two costumes on the same sprite. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the looks category, which is the purple one, and we're going to find switch costume 2. I'm just going to drop this under when green flag clicked. And right now you can, just pick Mario, or you can pick, Luigi, or you can make it randomly select. So then, does anyone remember where's a pick random block? So it is in the green section, pick random. So this way we don't know who the computer will pick. So by default it says 1 to 10. There's only 2 options though, because we only have 2 costumes. So we're going to change this to 1 to 2. And you'll notice every time I press the green flag, you don't know who you're going to get. So I got Mario 3 times and then Luigi, got Mario. So now this adds a little fun twist. You don't know who you're going to get. If you are feeling after this video super energized, want to do more coding, you can see if you can actually add a second sprite that you can play at the same time. And just make sure you update it so that the second sprite uses different keys, like maybe A and D, for example, to make it go left and right. But right now, we're just going to we're sticking to these 2 as costumes so that you can pick a random one. Okay, so the next fun thing we're going to add is a game over state. So we're going to, I'm going to go in a little bit of funky order. So I'm going to have a first code, what's going to happen when there's a game over. And then later we're going to add a bunch of code to a different sprite that makes game over get triggered. Okay. So first we're going to do when I receive game over. So you choose the block in the events category when I receive. It says message 1. So I got to make a new message called game over. And the way that these type of blocks work, the ones that send messages, is that they're only triggered when something else happens in the game. So when I receive game over as a message, then I will do something, but someone else has to send that message, and we'll send that message in a bit. So I want our character to announce what the final score was. So I'm going to go to looks. I'm going to click say. I'm going to drag it down here. But what's interesting about the game over part is you can really decide what you want to do. You can make it change backdrop. You can make everything stop. You can make something cool flash on the screen. You can make it move on to another level. It's really up to you. But I'm just going to have Mario send a message. And what I want Mario to say is, you got blank points. And I want them to say the number of points that I got. So if you remember, if we want to show a value that shows how many points, we actually have to show score. So the score variable will always store how many points I've gotten. So the way that I join the words though and the variable together is through this really cool operator block that is called join. So I have join apple banana, but I actually don't want to say apple banana. So I want to say you got, and then I'm going to do another join one, the join within a join, pretty crazy. Put it in the banana slot. You got blank points. So instead of apple though, I want an actual number, right? I want the number, but the number keeps changing, right? So I need to put in the variable score. So it won't display the word score. It will display the value of the variable. While I'm here, I'm also going to uncheck gravity. So right now, the reason why this is appearing is because gravity is checked. And the reason we originally had it checked was so that you could see how, when you press the space key, how does gravity change. But now that we're doing this advanced, really good looking game, I'm going to actually take that off because we really only need to see right now the score. Okay, but there's no game over yet. So that's why we're not seeing what that looks like yet, but we will get there very soon. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is put code on the umbrella. Now, if you are missing an umbrella, or you never had an umbrella or accidentally got deleted, you can always go back to that link from our first video, which has the sprites only project. And in that, you can actually get the umbrella from there. If you need to move things from one project to another, well, let's say you don't want to remix the whole project because you have your code here, right? You can always put something in your backpack and move it around. So for example, right now my backpack is empty. So backpack is really cool. It's just like down here. If you click on that backpack, you can actually store stuff in there. So I'm going to take this umbrella, for example, put it here. Boop. And then you'll notice, oh, there's a umbrella in my backpack. Now let's say I did not have an umbrella here. Oops, I accidentally deleted my umbrella. Oh no, eek. It happens sometimes. So, but if I look at my backpack, I see I have an umbrella here. So I can bring it back. So same thing, it works the same way if you are working between projects. So if you have one project open, copy your sprite that you want, put it in your backpack, and then you can whoop, bring it back. Okay, so now we have an umbrella. So the umbrella, if you recall, is a cool thing that the character holds, and it will open and close as the character rises and falls. So what we want to do is add, when the green flag is clicked, we want this to do it forever and ever and ever. So we use our favorite forever block. And the first thing we want to do is actually make sure that Mario can hold the umbrella. So there's this cool block under motion called go to. And right now it says go to random position. Wow, which is kind of crazy. So instead of doing that, I wanted to actually go to the character. So that, boom. So now it really looks like Luigi is holding the umbrella. Okay. So now we want the umbrella to actually look like it is opening and closing. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. For this particular umbrella that we're using, we only have one costume. If you wanted, you could add a second costume. Like you could draw a second costume or upload where you have a closed umbrella. But instead of doing that, we're going to just say when you are acting like you are closed, we just hide you and then you just reappear. Okay. So the way that we do that is we need our two-mouthed beast. We need our if, then, else. And if you want, you can pause the video right now and see if you can think of what could you do so that when the user presses the space key, it hides so that it sinks down. So it feels like, oh, the umbrella's closed, so the wind can't push me up. And then if the space key is not pressed, that means it's floating up. So that means the umbrella should open up and show itself. So go ahead and pause if you want to give yourself some time to try it. Okay. So now I'm going to show you. You go to sensing. So whenever you want to sense if a user is doing something, like touching a certain key, you want to go to if key pressed. So it's already default space key. That's the one we want. So that's awesome. So we want it to hide if it is pressed, and we want it to show if it is not pressed. Okay. So let's see if it's working. I press space key, whoop, and then it disappears. So basically now it looks like, whoa, Mario's only floating up when the umbrella is open and the wind is pushing it up. But yeah, you could make this even more complicated by adding a costume of a closed umbrella. Okay, so that is our umbrella code, or parasol, if you will. So I'm going to do the coin now. So there's a few things going on with the coin that are going to be really interesting. The first thing I want to show you is, if you'll notice, we had a problem at the beginning of the video too, where our original coin would show. So I just clicked on show once. So now it's reappearing. But that coin is not moving and it's kind of just hanging out. It's just kind of awkward. And the reason is because all of this code only happens to the clone. But this is not a clone. This is actually the original coin. And so the shortcut I taught you all was you can just click on hide. When you click on a block, it will just do that step one time, and then it just hit it. If you want, though, the other way to do it, so let me show it again. The other way to do it is you could add a hide block under when green flag clicked. So that way it never appears, because when you press the green flag, the original always hides, and it's only the clones that you ever see. So both ways are fine. And with coding, there's often a lot of different ways to do things. Okay, so that is how we make the original go away. The next thing that we're going to do that makes the coins just a bit more cute and fun and more accurate to the original game is we want it to actually rotate. So if you've ever played Super Mario before, you've noticed that the coins actually kind of flicker and turn. And the way that happens, and this is how animated movies work too. So I'm going to click on my coin. I'm going to click on costumes. You'll notice, whoa, there's lots of different versions of this coin, and they're all already hiding in costumes. And if you want, you can edit this. You can make each coin a different color, and it'll kind of flicker rainbow, whatever you want. It's your game. And so the way that we can make it just change costumes, we just want to rotate over and over again, is we're going to do that same thing that we did to start the other coding scripts. We're going to, when I start as a clone, and we want to forever change the costume. So our buddy forever block, and then our next costume block. So now you can see these coins are really flickering. Let's say it was not in the forever block. It will only just rotate one at a time every time I click it. But if I put it on the forever block, ooh, it keeps on spinning, keeps on spinning. So the other thing that happens in this game is when a Mario captures a coin, you typically hear a really fun sound. And what does that sound like? Well, let's see. So we go in this kind of magenta-y category sound. And I want to start sound coin. Did you hear it? Well, we don't have to go crazy and be constantly going. We want it to actually go only if it is touching Mario, because that means Mario captured it. So see if you can pause the video and figure out where does it go in the code. Okay, so let's see if you got it right. So I'm going to actually put it right inside that if then, if touching character. Let's see if it works. So when I touch the character, whoop, you get it every single time you get a coin. So a lot of these details are really what make games extra fun and special. And if you don't like the coin sound, you want to make a different sound, that's cool too. There's a whole library of sounds that you can use in Scratch, but we're using the classic Mario coin for now. Okay, so this next bit of code is a little bit lengthy and it involves another variable, but we've already done 2 variables. I think you all are variable experts. So this time I'm going to be using the variable to make a countdown clock. So what's the thing that's changing in a countdown clock? Could it be time? So again, a variable is a container. This time the container is time. And what we want inside is the number of seconds that have passed. So first we're going to start with when green flag clicked. Then I'm going to go to variables. I'm going to make a variable time. Click OK. And I'm going to set time to a certain number. And I want this to be a countdown clock. So the number you put here will be the total number of seconds you want the game to last. And again, it's really up to you. You know, you are the game developer. You decide, you know, what length would be really fun. So I'm going to give people 30 seconds. You know, if you wanted 10 seconds would be like this super crazy rapid fire game. 30 seconds, I feel like is a good amount of time. So I'm going to set time to 30 because again, time is our variable. And what happens when I press the green flag? Boom. You can see my time already appears, and I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to leave it checked because I want the player to be able to see and feel the urgency of the countdown, because the player knows they only have that amount of time to catch coins. Okay, so I've set time to 30. Now I'm going to use that repeat until, the repeat until block, because I'm going to say, okay, after 30 seconds have passed, then it's game over. So this links back to the earlier code we said. This is what happens when game over, but how do we trigger game over happening? This is how, when the clock runs out. So we're going to repeat until something's equal to 0. What could that be? So I'm going to go to operators. I have this other interesting hexagon shaped block. Notice there's 3 different ones. There's the greater than, less than. We want the one that's equal. Equal. Drop it in there. When something is equal to 0, what do you think goes in here? Go ahead and pause if you want to give yourself a minute to find it. And so what goes in here is the variable time, because we want when time is equal to 0, that will then trigger game over. But repeat until. So what are the things that you keep doing until 0. So before it hits 0, what does it need to do? Because right now when I press the green flag, it just stays at 30. It'll never get to 0. I needed to make it go down. So I'm going to have it change time by 1, but not just any 1, -1, because I want to subtract because we're counting down. So we want, oops, change time by -1. So we want, whoa, we want it to be what, 30, 29, 20. But that was way too fast. That was not 30 seconds. That was like a very short amount of time. So instead, we wanted to wait 1 second, it's that wait block again, so that it waits a second before it switches. Then every second exactly will count down. So I have that amount of time. All right. But to actually make this a game over, we have to broadcast that message. So how do we broadcast? Anyone know? Could it be the block that says broadcast? So there's a block here that says broadcast, broadcast game over. So what's awesome about this block, broadcast game over, is now when we had this other code that said, when I receive game over, someone's actually sending that message over. So you broadcast that, but then what should we do after we broadcast that? What should we do after we broadcast? We should actually also stop the other scripts and the sprites. Just because, you know, it's game over. It's a good time to stop all the scripts in the sprite. Okay, so here's the stop block. I lost it for a second. Okay, you'll notice this one does not have the little connecting nub, because stop just means stop. So I'm going to stop all the other scripts in this sprite. So let's see what happens. So go for 30 seconds. Let's see what I think. I'm sure you all are much better at this game than I am. I did not play enough video games as a kid. And I'm now making up for it through my teacher. So now I notice we're at 8, 7, 5, 4, 2, 0. Oh, and I've got 33 points. Yay. I do notice the 33 is kind of squished. So let me go ahead and fix that. But looks like my code worked and all the coins went away because I stopped those scripts. Okay, so let's go back to our code that said you got blank points score. I'm going to add a space here right after the got. You got space score, and then I'm going to put a space in front of points, because otherwise score just gets squished in. Okay, so let me see if that works. So I'm just testing it. So whenever you click on a block, it'll just run it once. So this allows me to test it without having to play my game over and requiring you to watch me for 30 seconds to play this game. So yeah, you got 34 points, and I have nice, beautiful spaces in between here because I added a space here and I added space here. All righty. So now I'm going to reattach it because I know it's right. It's a really good idea to always just be checking your code before you show other people. Give your code all the way run through so you can see if there's any unexpected bugs or little things like that. And lastly, it doesn't affect the code at all. I'm just going to add a backdrop by clicking backdrop here on the side, on the way right. I'm just going to choose blue sky. Now I'm fully satisfied with my advanced Parasol Plummet. I hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks so much for coding with me today.